The desert winds rose with the dawn, carrying with them the scent of dust and fire. Across the endless dunes of Al-Raheem, riders thundered in long lines, their banners snapping red and black. They were the hand of Sultan Rashid, unleashed upon Valdoria's caravans. Already, smoke rose from broken wagons, and trade routes that once fed kingdoms now lay silent. The Sultan had declared his war not with fanfare, but with fire and silence. Yet, even as his banners cast fear across the sands, another path was taken. From the shadow of his father's palace, Prince Kamal rode cloaked in desert brown, his face hidden beneath the keffiyeh. His stallion cut swift paths over the dunes, not south toward conquest, but north toward Eldoria. Eldoria still smoldered from battles past. The air carried the ash of burned ships, the memory of Dreadbane's retreat, the weight of survival without victory. In the cliffs above the village, Varkor lay stretched like a broken mountain, his golden scales dulled and scarred. Elara sat at his side, her hand upon his chest, as though her touch might hold his spirit within. It was there Kamal found her. He dismounted, drawing back his hood. The desert prince's eyes were sharp, the same gold brown as the dunes that raised him. His armor was not ceremonial, but practical, scarred by dust and war. "I come not for war," he said, his voice low, almost reverent. Elara's gaze hardened. Finn's hand went to his dagger. But Kamal dropped his sword at their feet, sinking to one knee before the dragon. Varkor's molten eyes flared, yet he did not strike. Kamal raised his head. "My father would see you burned, I would see you rise." The days that followed carried unease. Kamal walked Eldoria's paths with curiosity, speaking of tactics, of trade routes, of his riders' strength in the desert wars. His words were fire meant to warm, yet Finn saw only smoke. He shadowed him at every turn, suspicion etched into his jaw. When Kamal's eyes lingered on Elara with something softer than politics, Finn's silence grew sharper than blades. Elara herself was torn. She felt the prince's sincerity, his willingness to risk his father's wrath. And yet, the shadow of the note burned in her cloak still. Your traitor wears honest eyes. Could any oath be trusted when every hand seemed painted with deceit? Far across the seas, plots ripened like fruit. In Karazin's marble halls, Empress Nyla reclined in emerald silk, her goblet catching the light. She read once more the letter she had sent weeks before, the one that promised Serenia of Drakemarch to Duke Merrick. Already reports reached her of his ambition swelling. Ravengard's knights rode further, faster, bowing less often. Nyla smiled faintly. The more he hungered, the easier he would be to control. And in Valdoria's dark court, whispers told of her influence spreading. Nyla's emissaries brought more than gold. They brought her voice. A handmaiden in the palace, a merchant in the kitchens, a lord too flattered by her words. Even King Althar's counselors bent nearer when her name was spoken. Seduction was not always flesh. It was influence, wrapped in silk. And Nyla was weaving it well. Back in Eldoria, the storm broke at night. The hour was deep past midnight. Eldoria's hall slept, its rafters creaking softly with the sea wind. In her chamber, Elara lay still beneath woolen blankets, the faint glow of moonlight tracing silver across her face. She looked to be sleeping, but her hand tightened, slowly, around the hilt of a dagger hidden under her cover. The door whispered open. Two shadows slid inside, silent as breath, blades glinting faint poison green in the pale light. They moved with the precision of killers long practiced. The first raised his knife to strike down, aiming straight for her heart. In the same instant, Elara rolled hard from the bed, the blade sinking deep into mattress and wool. She landed barefoot on the stone, eyes sharp, and met the second assassin's strike with the steel of her dagger. Sparks hissed. The chamber exploded into chaos. Blades flashed, fabric tore, breath came hard. Elara swung for Emberblade, resting near the bed, her fingers wrapping around its hilt just as the killers pressed forward. One lunged low, the other curved high, two vipers striking together. She caught them with steel and fury. The clash rattled the small chamber until the door burst open. Finn stormed in first, daggers gleaming, his eyes fierce. Behind him came Kamal, cloak flying, curved sword flashing as he moved to Elara's side. The three fought as one, driving the assassins back step by step. But the killers were smoke, not stone. With inhuman grace, they slipped free, spinning toward the window. In a single breath, they leapt, vanishing into the night, like serpents diving into dark water. On the floor, their traces remained, a crushed shard of green wax, its gleam unmistakable under the moon, Nyla's mark, and beside it, a dagger, etched with the pearl sigil of Orolith. Two masters, one blade, a second attempt on Elara's life. Eldoria's bedrock shook with the truth. Serpents struck from both east and south, and neither meant to miss the third time. By dawn, the desert answered. Scouts reported riders moving across the dunes. Elara, Finn, and Kamal set out, their horses cutting paths through the sands. They found themselves funneled into a narrow pass, where the cliffs closed like jaws. The ambush struck swift. Arrows rained from above, their heads dripping with poison. Assassins in black slid from the rocks, Valdorian scouts surging behind them. The clash was chaos. Steel on stone, sand turning red beneath the storm. Elara fought with Emberblade blazing, each strike scattering sparks into the sand. Finn moved like desperation given form, daggers flashing. His breath ragged as a poisoned cut grazed his arm. They were falling.
There are too many.
We'll take as many with us as we can.
Outnumbered,
I like those odds.
pressed to the edge. Then Kamal's voice rang sharp as steel. From the dunes poured riders, his riders. Loyalists hidden in the desert's belly, cloaked in the storm. They struck like a sandstorm unleashed, scimitars flashing, horses thundering. The assassins broke. Valdorian scouts scattered. The ambush shattered. When the dust settled,
Are you all right?
Finn's wound bled slow,
I will live.
but shallow. Elara stood gasping, her blade still hot in her hand. Kamal's men circled, their prince at their head. He had saved them, not with words, but with fire and loyalty. Elara's eyes met his. For a moment, trust flickered, fragile, dangerous, real. But far away, in the jeweled palace of Al-Raheem, Sultan Rashid listened as his spies whispered of Kamal's movements, his son's secret aid to Eldoria, his presence beside the dragon. Rashid's laughter rolled low, cruel as shifting sand.
Let him play with fire. We shall see if he returns unburned.
The Sultan said, his jeweled hand closing around a scimitar's hilt. The torchlight burned bright upon the palace walls, but in the shadows, betrayal already had teeth. Thank you for watching. I'm just a hard-working YouTuber, trying my best to bring you interesting stories. I will greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. It means the world to me. Thank you once again.